Welcome back. So let's talk about the profile of the homies. The homies and the homegirls. These are the male and female clients of Homeboy Industries. And you've got to remember, and I teach this case, a lot of my students have trouble understanding this. The fact that we're in a university, or the fact, quite frankly, that we're even watching a YouTube video, it's an indication that we have some means. And most of the time, if we have some money or we have a career, it's because someone, somewhere, loved us or cared about us in such a way to at least try to help us. A lot of the homies and homegirls have grown up in very dangerous, abusive environments. Many of them have limited to no formal education. They were abused at home, they never got to go to school. And then of course they were in prison, which is a very traumatic experience too. So these are people who have never been given a chance, never been given love, never been given hope, and never taught any basic skills. And a lot of them don't even know how to slice bread because everything is served to you in prison. So they come with nothing, right? No family, no support network, and no know-how. And you learn about this in depth when you go on these tours that the homies and homegirls will guide you through at Homeboy Industries. And I'm not much on reading directly from paper, but this is such a powerful quote that I want to share this story with you. This was an interview with Ramon, who was one of the clients, and he says it like this. He was one of the guys giving us the tour. And he was really having trouble telling the story. I mean, he was looking down, he was very shy, he was very nervous, right? And he says this, he says, "I decided to make my life better through Homeboy about halfway through my prison sentence. Another convict owed me money for drugs I sold him, and he didn't have it. I knew I would have to kill him, and I didn't want to do it. I prayed for 3 days for God to give me a sign." And by the way, it's not in the case, but when he was praying for 3 days for a sign, he had a paper cut out from a magazine that he said that was the Virgin Mary, and when he was praying, the Virgin Mary fell off his shelf. So he also interpreted that as part of the sign. He says, "Father Bull came to the prison next day and told me about how he could help me when my prison sentence was over. He was the sign. I decided not to kill my fellow inmate, and the next week he paid me my money. At this point, I decided to make the change." And then he continues. He says, "Homeboy clients come in broken. Father Boyle lifts us up. Father Boyle recognized that gangs are a tool of Satan, and people are addicted to the gang lifestyle. He recognized that it's tough to break the continuous cycle of gangs and prison when we have no references, no work history, and no education. Father Boyle gives us a safe space to work where we can get strong and prove not only to ourselves, but also to our employers that we can contribute." And the story of this man, which is, I don't talk about in the case as much, because you got limited space, but the whole point of this guy's background is heartbreaking, and that would be putting it mildly. So he lived with his mother and his stepfather, and the stepfather would tie this little boy to the bed, by the hands and the feet, so he was stretched out on the bed, face down, and the stepfather would come home and whip all the flesh off of his back with a vacuum cleaner cord, and that was like the daily ritual. Well, eventually this young man, despite being malnourished and abused and everything, once he got to about 13, he became strong enough that he was able to slip out, and he killed his stepfather at age 13, right? And so he was in jail until he was in his 60s, and that's when he started working at Homeboy, right? This is somebody whose their entire adult life was spent in jail, and then they're released about retirement age, and they have to do something, right? They have to do something with their lives, and Father Boyle is there for them, okay? Now, there's other kinds of homies. Some of them are younger. They have a special Learning Works charter school arrangement, so if you're under 21, you can work on getting your GED. But every single one of these homie stories is very unique and very heartbreaking, but they share certain commonalities. People that have been in and out of gangs, people in and out of jail, people with no formal education, people with no job skills, and people who can't get a job. And this is like our most vulnerable population in the United States, okay? These convicts. And those of you that believe in or follow Title IX and things like that, people that have jail sentences are not considered a protected group under the law, so you can discriminate against them. And so Father Boyle is trying to give them a shot at breaking that gang lifestyle. Okay? That's the profile of the homies. So in our next video, we'll talk about some of their social entrepreneurships, and we'll talk about what is a social entrepreneurship. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. As always, hit that like button if you like this video or any of the videos on my channel. Hit that subscribe button too, and if you have any questions, comment down below. I'll see you in the next video.